So here we're looking at section 7.6, and we want to just talk about this idea of moments first. And if you go to physics and you just think of a lever, right? I have something I'm going to try to pry up, something here, some mass here. And I'm going to try to pry it, here's our pivot. Pivot, okay. Pivot point. Then what physics has figured out is that in order to, push down on this and make this move, if this is a mass m and this is a distance d1, then you're going to have to, if this is a distance d2, so we'll call it m1, in order to make this thing move, with some mass m2 by pulling down on it, you're going to need m1 d1 to equal, well, all right, is m2 d2. Okay, so that kind of sets up this idea that maybe, a mass times its distance from some point is kind of important. And so that's what we call a moment. Okay, a moment, m, about, oh, they use m? A moment m? Well, that's not good. Yeah, I was looking at the text and they call it a moment, and they use a lowercase m. That's a really bad idea. Because you use a lowercase m for mass, so I'm not sure what the heck they were talking about. But, oh, I see. They say the moment of m. So, yeah. So here we're going to use an uppercase m. So a moment m of a mass, lowercase m, about a point P is just given as m, uppercase M, equals our mass times x, where x is the distance of m from P, and they call this, x is called the x is the length of the moment arm. Now then, a question that certainly would come up then at times is, well, suppose I have two masses, right? And, suppose I have something that I can set two masses on. So here's m1 and here's m2. A new question would be, well, okay, given m1 and m2, sort of where would I set a point to balance that, right? So where does this go, so that I can get a balance here, and and how do I find that, and so forth, and so that spot, we're going to call that spot, if we can find it, the center of mass. Okay, and that would be that balance point between these masses, and of course we could start adding lots more masses to it and all that. So that's the idea where this question of center of mass comes from. Just comes from the kind of this physics idea of a balance point, and and so or what sort of mass would it take on this end to balance things out here to get that moving, and so then a reasonable question after that is, well, okay, yeah, so I've got two masses. Where would I need to put that pivot point in order to balance that out? And we're going to call that point our center of mass. Okay, so that's where it comes from. That's what we're doing with all this in 7.6, and so that's what we'll start on next.